Welcome to Hooking Up with Books. I'm Caroline at For the Love of Crochet. Have you ever wanted to join a book club? Well, this is a crochet book club. A book club where we read books and then we crochet some based off that book. Stick around and join me for this. Hooking Up with Books is a crochet book club that my friend Craftably Ever After and I started, I believe, October of 2022. So we have been doing it a full year, and the final book that we have read is The Guernsey and Potato Peel Pie Society. No, the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. This is also a Netflix film. If you haven't read the book, you could watch the movie. And I have a few entries that people have emailed me pictures, and I'm going to share with you what I made. But let's just do a quick recap of all the books we read and the projects real fast. The first book we read was Where the Crawdads Sing. And for Where the Crawdads Sing, I made the flying seagull. I sewn a seagull, and I made a couple of other projects. If you want to check it out, check out the playlist of Hooking Up with Books that I will leave listed down below. The second book we read was Britt Marie Was Here by Frederick Bachman, and I crocheted a rat. I'll show you a picture here. That was a lot of fun and one of the designers that I fell in love with. The third one was The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. And if you can see that bunny right there with the apron, that represented the maid. So I found some really great projects. The fourth book was called One Day by David Nichols, and that was also a film. A lot of these are made into film, and this was not a favorite book of ours. However, I did not finish it, and I still made something. I made a notebook, a crochet notebook, and here's a picture of it. And something else I made, but a keychain, I believe, a taco keychain, because she worked at a taco restaurant. Then we read that epic story, Lulu's Cafe by T.I. Lowe. And I believed I made a garland of sailboats. Show you a picture here. Loved those sailboats. Really beautiful for a baby's room. And then we read another Frederick Bachman book called A Man Called Uwe. Fantastic book. And I believe I made the little girl in the story, in the book, that he, really loves. He really loves everybody. He just has a hard way of showing it. But the main little girl, I decided to make a little girl. And I put some stuff on her overalls. Like I said, check out the playlist if you really want to get in details of everything we made. Then we read The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, which, of course, is such a great book. Very little to read, and so many great characters and so much wisdom for life. And I made 2 foxes and a mole to represent this story. And then our final book, The Guernsey and Potato Peel Pie Society. Oh my goodness, I have so much to say about this. This book is a historical fiction taking place between 1941 and 1946 in that horrific event of the German occupation, so on the Guernsey island or place. This book was written in letter form, which made it very easy to read and very interesting to read, because it's like you're getting invited into someone's diary, when you're reading someone's letters. So I really found that appealing. But my final note about this book is one of my favorite scenes in this story and in the novel is when Juliet and Isola spend an evening together, and they're drinking and they're just sharing such intimate details. Juliet, who's not been totally honest about what's going on in her private life, she opens up to Isola, and Isola also opens up to her about her insecurities, but her hope and dream of finding her true love. And so they're sharing this intimate moment together, and it is just a lovely scene of friendship. that honesty and transparency that they share. So we have these group of characters that form a fictional book club to escape, some horrific events for themselves. So they created this book club, and in creating it, they had to fake it. And in their faking it, they found their love of books. And so they share this traumatic event in history. However, they found a love and an escape through their friendship and their love of books. And so, like this, what a book to end this year on, is I would love nothing more than to share reading books with you through our love of crochet. And here's my project. Now this represents the main character in this novel, one of the main characters in this novel that Juliet fancies. I'm trying not to give you too much information just in case you haven't read the book or watched the movie. Anyway, and he has a mustache. He also has a beard, but I didn't do the beard. I looked far and wide for a great pattern. One that I can handle, 2 that I had some yarn for, and 3 that represented this character in some way. But for the designer, right? The designer was a big one for me in choosing this project. Cornflake Stew, you know her as Cornflake Stew on Etsy. If you don't know her, you can go check her out. She's on Etsy and Instagram as Cornflake Stew. And her real name is Allison North. And you may know her from this book here. We did a large covering of this book. I mean, we as crocheters, a lot of podcasters got together and they made a lot of projects out of this book. And if you want to see all those projects, I believe you'll have to look up Chronically Crocheting. She has a whole playlist, and it's so cool because you get to see everybody's projects that they made, but how they made their own take on it. I really love seeing a project done differently and everyone else's take on it, whether they put details on it. So this is the designer I went with. This is her design. Oh my goodness, do I love this design. Do you see? It's just so interesting how she did this. So I just loved it. And he is called the Tall Man on her Etsy shop, and he represents the pig farmer. I believe his name Dawson. I believe his name is Dawson in the book, in the movie. So Dawson here is just so fantastic. I really loved working on him. Very easy to do. A lot of rows, but very easy. No problems with this. I really loved the detail of the mustache. That is just so cool. And I do love when they add ears. One ear came out a little better than the other. I liked this one better than this one. But when you work a project more than once, you get more familiar and better at it. And this was my first time working this. I also really did not want to make that nose, but I did, and I think it looks fine, and it fits the mustache. I like that. It's so cool. So here he is. Another problem I had with this is I didn't anticipate not having the right shade in the right weight of yarn. Unfortunately, this was a DK weight, this was a fingering weight, and I don't know what this was. This is Shepshes Katona cotton, the very tiny one, so I don't know what weight that is, but all different weights here. But I made it work. So here he is. I love his coloring and everything. Can't even get him in frame. He's so tall. So yeah, there he is. I just love it. But I didn't make him only, my friends. I made the little pig. Yes, so in this this book, we have something that they deceived the Germans, and they had this pig. And so to share this pig, they invited these friends over, which then started this whole thing, okay? But they needed a pig farmer to carve this baby up. And so this odd group of people that are starving because everything is taken away from them, they share a pig. And so I just love this pig. This is the Knotting Hook No Sew Pig. Very cute. Knotting Hook pig. Very cute. I very much love making this. And this I got better. So this one I did something different, and it left a little hole in his ear. But on this side I did like the pattern. And that is how it's supposed to look. But one looks a little pointier and one doesn't look so pointy. One looks not so pointy and one looks, this one's pointy, this one's not so pointy. And I just love it. It's so cool. Now I've made this before in the big fluffy yarns. I made this pig and my son noticed that his ear was off, so I had to remedy that. So I made it in this little 4-weight yarn that came out awesome. I really love it. So this is a pattern off Etsy by the Knotting Hook. She has a YouTube channel as well. Okay, so now's the part where you can join in. If you read a book, if you read this book with us, maybe you didn't read it, maybe you just watched the movie, or maybe you just used the colors. Here are 3 friends who decided to join in with us and Craftably Ever After. And the first one is Jacqueline. Jacqueline went all out and she made a beet, a potato, and the pie. What this whole book, this awful pie that they talk about in here. So that is just fabulous. I just love all of that. Very good. I have not been one to crochet food, so I'm glad you made food. And then she also made, Juliet in the novel had promised to make Sophie's baby a matinee sweater set, and so she made a sweater set. Way to go. That is so lovely. I have made my first little baby sweater a couple of months ago, so I'm really excited about it. So yes, that is adorable. Thank you for sharing that. And then next up, we have Simona Moniova. Thank you for joining me. These are all new people joining me today, so thank you. She made a little pup because at this horrific time, animals were they were not allowed to have dogs. Juliet had expressed wanting to have a dog, and so she made a dog. And yes, what a treasure they are. Yes, I do love that you made a dog. Okay, and then next up, so thank you so much for joining us. I know you're new as well. And then finally, we have Bonnie Tyler, who made the parrot. There is a parrot in this film that flaps its wings crazy and aggressively at the would-be thief at Isola's place. And so she made this lovely parrot that is so detailed. I love it. I have yet to make a very detailed bird. This is a very pretty parrot. A lot of details, very excellent work. Thank you for sharing. Thank you to Jacqueline, Simona, and Bonnie for joining us for Hooking Up with Books. So if you want to join Hooking Up with Books, we are taking a break for the holidays, and then we're going to start right back up in January. So we'll be letting you know what books to see. And then now go check out Craftably Ever After to see what she made to represent this book. I so enjoyed hanging out with you today, and I shall talk to you again soon. Bye.